it's Alana and welcome back to my channel for another chapter of Leaving the City. As always, if you want to leave any comments or reviews or generally get... Haylen's biting my bum. or generally get chatting about the chapter, please feel free to put it in the comments below or message me on my social medias. I'll be answering you all and just generally having a good time. Before we get too far into this video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm uploading chapter 5. And let's get straight into it. Leaving the City, Chapter 4. Cate woke easily, with the spring sunshine streaming through the windows and the birds singing. She felt butterflies in her stomach as she remembered this was the first day at her new school. Her alarm clock said it was 6, but she didn't have to get up until 6:30, so she lay in bed for a while, thinking. They had been living at Sweetbriars for over a month, but it didn't feel like more than a week. She decided to get up and give the horses their morning feed. As it was spring, it didn't take too long to finish the morning chores, as the horses didn't need blankets or their stables cleaned. They lived out in the paddocks in spring and summer. Cate entered the room where they stored the horses' fodder and picked up Odette's food bucket, which had been prepared the night before. As she did this, she felt a small whoosh of air and a tickling sensation down her arm. She screamed and dropped the bucket as she watched a brown mouse scamper away, darting into a hole in the corner of the wall. She stood there shaking, almost wondering if she had imagined it. It happened so quickly. Luckily, the horses' buckets had covers so their food couldn't be contaminated, but with the warm weather coming, one mouse could turn into many, as Cate had learned at her previous stables. She walked around the stable, loudly stamping her feet so as not to have another run-in, and planned to tell Mum and Dad when she saw them. Cate continued picking up the horses' buckets and went to put food in the containers hanging on the gates. As she did this, she started to hatch a plan. When she went back into the house, her parents were eating breakfast. "Mum, Dad, guess what happened to me?" Cate announced loudly. "What happened, dear?" said her father as he put down his newspaper and looked at Cate with concern. "Well, there's a big brown mouse living in the feed room. He just jumped on me when I picked up a feed bucket and ran down my arm," Cate said, grimacing. She took a deep breath, waiting for her parents' response. When there'd been a mouse infestation at the old stables, the owner had introduced 2 cats and the mice disappeared pronto. Cate was anticipating and hoping for a similar situation. She was already picturing a cute little kitten. "Oh no, I hate mice," her mum said. She sighed and looked at Dad. "We can lay some traps or get a pest control company in. Where there's one mouse, there's usually many more." "Things will only get worse with this warm weather," replied Dad calmly, and he turned his attention back to reading the newspaper. Cate took a deep breath, then said, "I have an idea. We could get a cat or even a kitten. Do you remember at our old stable the mice disappeared almost instantly after they brought in the cats?" Cate's parents looked at each other, pausing in thought. "We could even get a rescue cat from the cat home," Cate suggested to sweeten the idea. "Cate, I think that's a wonderful idea," remarked Mum, looking at Dad for agreement. Dad put his paper down and crossed his arms. Yes, I can't see why not. I suppose all good stables need a stable cat," he said with a glint in his eye and a grin spreading across his face. Cate suspected her parents had said yes so easily because they knew she'd been feeling a little down after the move. Pleased at the prospect of getting a cute kitten, Cate forgot about first day school nerves and decided to get dressed for the day. Her new school uniform included a navy knee-length skirt, a white shirt and a navy jumper or blazer, although that was only for autumn and winter. The blazer pocket was embossed with the school emblem and its name, Dalesea College. Pupils also had to have white socks, or black tights in winter, which Cate would wear with her new Mary Jane patent leather shoes her mum had bought her in London. Cate was glad she had a uniform, so she didn't need to think about what to wear. As for her hair, she spent at least 20 minutes fiddling with it. Eventually, Cate decided on a plain old ponytail as nothing else looked right. She added purple crystal studs in her ears. At least part of her outfit would have a little personality. They arrived at school and dropped Alex at the seniors' entrance. It was their second visit, and once again Cate was astonished at how much space there was. They walked up a tree-lined path to arrive at an old cream-coloured building with a sign saying, General Inquiries. A lady who looked to be in her 50s was sitting behind the main desk, talking on the phone. She had short, spiky dyed blonde hair that stood at least 5 centimetres off her head and wore yellow plastic-framed glasses, a dark purple V-neck top and jeans. Cate thought she looked quite trendy. I'll be with you in a jiffy, said the woman with a wide smile, removing her phone earpiece. After a few minutes, she finished her call and introduced herself as Mrs. Magle. She asked for Kate's name and entered it into the computer. Then she fished a folder out of a box with Kate's name written neatly on the front. It was an enrolment pack, which Mrs. Magle said contained everything Cate needed to know to manage her first days at the junior school. Mrs. Magle marked out the important locations on a school map and explained the school timetable. Kate's first class would be mathematics with Miss Dixon in classroom 4C. There's nothing like getting stuck into a bit of algebra to calm first day school nerves, right? Joked Mrs. Magle as she winked at Cate. Sure, said Cate, giving a polite smile. She was looking forward to the distraction of schoolwork to do exactly that. Well, I think that's everything, said Mrs. Magle, standing up. If you need anything, please come and see me. She beamed and then looked beyond them to a girl with long hair sitting with a man who Cate guessed was her father. Cate had been so engrossed with Mrs. Magle that she hadn't heard them enter the office. As they left the office, Cate could hear Mrs. Magle ask the girl her name and whether she was there to enroll. The girl said she was new and her name was Violet. Cate hoped she would be in her class so she wouldn't be the only new girl. Mum gave her a goodbye kiss and promised to come back and collect her after school. Cate felt nervous as she walked through a series of tree-lined paths, consulting her map and taking in the buildings around her. They were also cream-coloured with floor-to-ceiling windows revealing individual classrooms. Cate found 4C written above a door. She paused and swallowed, and then took a deep breath. The room looked slightly chaotic, with noisy girls in clusters dotted around. Cate couldn't see a teacher. She entered the room quietly, taking small steps towards what must be the teacher's desk, then waited awkwardly, taking in her surroundings. Her mouth felt dry and her palms sweaty, but she did her best to feign a confident look as she leant against the table. There were around 20 girls in the room, many curiously eyeing Cate. She was playing with a loose strand of her hair and looking in her new school diary when Miss Dixon entered. The teacher took centre stage beside Cate at her desk. Now Cate felt even more awkward with all the students staring at the two of them. She wasn't sure where to stand. After saying good morning to the classroom, Miss Dixon turned to Cate and said crisply, "You must be one of my new students. What is your name?" "It's Caitlin, or Cate as most people call me," Cate said, trying to keep her voice steady. The door swung open and banged against the wall as the tall girl from the office entered the room. All eyes swivelled towards her. "Ah, and you must be my other new student?" asked Miss Dixon. "Yes, I'm Violet," the girl replied with a clear, even voice and an easy smile. She glided towards Miss Dixon and Cate. "Wonderful," Miss Dixon replied. "I'll seat you together at the empty desk in the second row," she gestured to the desk. The girls greeted each other with polite hellos. Violet had cornflower blue eyes and glossy strawberry blonde hair half tied back with a blue silk ribbon. The way she carried herself made her seem taller than she actually was. Cate felt childish by comparison. They organised their things on the desks for class. Violet was meticulous, lining up her pens, red, blue and black, 2 pencils and a ruler with precision. Miss Dixon asked the students to introduce themselves. By the end of the introductions, Cate had already forgotten every student's name except for Violet's. Cate thought Miss Dixon was beautiful with long blonde hair tied into a simple ponytail and light green eyes fringed with long dark eyelashes. She was patient and explained things carefully in a clear voice. She regularly asked if everyone understood an exercise before moving on to the next, and the lesson went quickly. Cate didn't find maths easy, so she was pleased that the lesson picked up roughly where she had left off at her old school. Afterwards, Cate asked Violet if she knew where the next class was. Violet already had the route marked on her school map and led the way. The rest of the day went like that. Violet led Cate to all the classrooms and they had lunch together. Violet was particular about many things, Cate learnt. She brushed her teeth after lunch and went to the bathroom to wash her hands a lot. They bought lunch from the canteen. The food was better than at Cate's old school, with fresh sandwiches and salads, not just heated up frozen food. Violet smelt her lunch before eating it, then broke the sandwich up into small pieces. She managed to eat the sandwich quicker than Cate, which was surprising as it seemed all she was doing was fiddling with it. Over lunch, Violet told Cate how she had moved to Dalesea from Manchester when her father took a new job at the local university. Like Cate, Violet was sad to leave her old friends, but happy to be living in Dalesea as her parents had finally agreed to buy her a horse. Cate couldn't believe it. She'd met someone who rode horses on her first day. Violet had been having riding lessons for 3 years and begging her parents for her own horse. With her dad's promotion as a professor and moving to the country, her parents had finally given in. Cate and Violet spent the rest of lunch and any free time talking about possible horse breeds, colours and sizes that Violet could buy. The awkwardness that Cate had felt earlier mostly disappeared, and they bonded over their shared passion of horses. The rest of their classes were mostly interesting, and the teachers seemed friendly. Drama was a standout for Cate. It turned out that Mrs. Maygill from reception was also the drama teacher. Cate was sometimes shy and didn't always feel comfortable acting. At her old school, the teacher would warm up the class by asking students to make silly faces and noises to relax the class. That always had the opposite effect on Cate. In Mrs. Maygill's class, she talked through the Les Miserables play like it was a story and asked the class what emotions the characters would be feeling. In the next lesson, they would go into small groups to practice parts of the story and the characters' emotions. At home after school, Cate changed into her jumpers and had a snack before going to the stables to ride. She didn't feel like doing arena work today, so she decided to ride around Sweetbriars. Her father had created a mowed pathway that circled the property, and Cate wanted to do a few laps around it. She got a carrot from the feed room and walked to Odette's field. When Odette saw her, she whinnied, her usual response to Cate and the treats she brought. Cate put her head collar on and led her to the stables to get her ready. It was easy to groom her now that she had her short summer coat, and the fields were dry and free of mud to roll in. Or at least Cate thought it would be easy until she went into the tack room and couldn't find any brushes or even a hoofpick in the tack stable. "Thanks, Alex." Cate looked in the next obvious place, outside Fritz's stable. Sure enough, there was a brush and hoofpick on the floor. Inside the stable, 2 more brushes were resting on a wall ledge. Cate sighed, frustrated with Alex. They had been at the farm only a short time, and he was already leaving things everywhere. Alex was supposedly at the library, so Cate sent him a prim message saying, "This is our new stable and home. Please respect other people in it and put things away." Then she got on with grooming Odette, brushing her coat in a soothing rhythmic movements. She put the brushes neatly away in the tack room and wrapped purple protective bandages around Odette's legs. She put a matching purple saddlecloth on her back and added a general-purpose saddle, and finally fitted Odette's bridle with purple blingy crystals on the brow band. Cate's phone beeped just as she was about to sit in the saddle. It was a message from Alex saying, "Sorry sis, you're right. I am completely hopeless. I promise I will try and be better." Cate found herself typing in reply, "Oh, stop being so nice all the time. Just remember to put things away." Before she hit send, her phone beeped again. Another message from Alex saying, "Love, your big brother Alex," with a love heart emoji. Cate realised she was making a big deal out of nothing and suddenly felt silly and laughed. It was difficult to stay angry with Alex. Cate rode along the path for about 10 minutes and was thinking about starting Pony Club in a couple weeks' time. Pony Club had been so much fun in Hattersfield, so Cate was excited to start at Dalesea Hills. It was nice that they'd be able to ride through the forest to get there instead of taking the lorry, but Cate wouldn't know anyone, and the new club had double the numbers of members of her last pony club. Cate also wanted to be placed in a higher riding level group. She hoped she would do well in her pony club assessment. Cate sighed, and as they reached a soft grass path, urged Odette to trot. She shortened her reins and squeezed her legs. Odette was feeling fresh and rushed ahead excitedly, but after a few minutes she settled into a rhythm. Cate could see rabbits scurrying along the path, and everything felt new in the spring sunshine. In the valley beyond the Sweetbriars fields, there was a sea of yellow flowers, and a strong floral smell mixed with cut grass washed over Cate. After riding and being in nature, Cate was cheerful and enjoyed supper with her family. Better still, when she looked at Instagram, she noticed that Violet was now following her. She followed her back and looked at Violet's profile. There were many pictures of her with her favourite riding school horse, Ziggy. A picture of Beth had been added too. Beth and a friend wore big smiles on their faces as they posed by the school gate. Cate felt a sharp pang of sadness, but then took a deep breath. She knew what would cheer her up. She would open the special box she treasured and had left to last. The silver case was at the bottom of a brown moving box. Cate carefully lifted it out and undid the small metal latch to see a familiar mixture of brightly coloured glossy rosettes which she'd won at horse riding shows. She delicately organised them, caressing her favourite with her fingers, and placed it on top of the others. It was a deep red colour, laced with silver ribbon, and said, "Champion Junior Rider from the Hattersfield County Show." And that is all from me today. I really hope you've enjoyed reading chapter 4 and learning about Cate's first day at school and meeting Violet for the first time. Now, if you want to leave any questions, comments or reviews, feel free to message me on my social medias at Alana Clark Equestrian on Instagram and Facebook, or at ace_equestrian on Twitter, or leave it in the comments below. I'll be answering you all. Now, don't forget to keep an eye out for tomorrow for chapter 5, and I'll see you then. From Haylin and I, it's goodbye!